According to the timeline included in the new amended complaint from Justin Baldoni, Ryan Reynolds wrote this statement that he demanded Justin and James post during the height of the Blake Lively backlash over the summer. And it's wild. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. Guys, so much is coming out of this amended complaint. There's so much to read. Hundreds of pages. We're doing our best. We're going to space them out over the weekend because I do have my son's birthday, Diego, I'm rushing to. But before it did, I wanted to get a couple of these videos out to show you some of the most striking things I noticed. Overall, I got to say, this makes Blake look even worse. Like, I want to see the context of everything, but I don't understand what she's going to be able to provide that changes what Justin is so clearly putting out there. And I want to reiterate again, it was so smart the way they did this, because Blake's team's out there saying, this is retaliation. They won't stop. They're going to put a whole website of all the stuff. And they have a meeting on Monday, which we'll be covering. So hit the subscribe button. We'll be covering it there. They have a meeting with the court on Monday to talk about all this. So rather than post the website and get all this truth out, they did something even more brilliant. They did an amended complaint attached with this amendment, more of the timeline and more of the evidence to lay it all out to show why this is such a big deal. It was sneaky, but brilliant, because now it's part of a legal complaint, not a press release. But of course, just like Blake Lively's complaint, which she had with the New York Times since Halloween. She had it for months, and it's proven in this document more and more, thanks to all the TikToks and metadata. They amended this complaint because they've realized that the New York Times had it way longer than they and Blake are saying, which again, the fact that the New York Times is lying about that is immensely troubling and not going to help them in the case at all. We got it the day it was filed. Nonsense. Now, the more we look through it all, this part in particularly, sorry, there's so many tabs here. This is what I want to read this. So they're basically, this is August 12th. This is about when we started covering it. This is when the swell was getting pretty large because of Blake's actions. And they really feel like it's Justin and Wayfair that are out there doing it, which is why they're calling out Barbie film is where it all sort of starts. I mean, I saw that. No one needed to tell me that I saw it that way. When she said, grab your florals and take your besties to see the movie about TV, we all sort of thought, this isn't Barbie. Why are you making it Barbie? When she was out there creating marketing opportunities to a movie about TV, that's when we all said it. I didn't need Melissa, Nathan, or Abel, or any of these people to tell me what was clearly happening from Blake's stand. Now, if that was Sony or someone telling her to do those things, we'll go yell at them. Don't yell at us. So they're out there making it sound like there's this smear campaign and they're behind it. How dare they? This is what it is. They believe Nathan is responsible for positioning and demand that Wayfair release a statement of contrition, taking accountability for the negative press towards Lively and Reynolds. They warned WME the absent complaints, the gloves will come off. In turn, Reynolds tells WME that he would personally draft a statement for Wayfair to release immediately. Heath and Abel are astounded that Reynolds and Lively blame Baldoni and Wayfair for their self-inflicted PR nightmare. Heath had consistently communicated that neither Wayfair, Nathan, nor anyone on their team was manipulating the internet using bots or seeding stories about Lively or Reynolds' character. All press stories were organic and directly resulted from Lively's own tone-deaf marketing approach, which she clearly took over and wanted to make about her. They went and did stuff without Justin. They didn't want Justin's input at all. The evening, two WME execs, Heath, Abel, participants in a call, review the statement drafted by Lively and Reynolds on behalf of Baldoni and Wayfair. Upon review, WME concurs with Wayfair that the statement was vague, implies culpability without substance, and fails to address the issues at hand. Furthermore, if the goal was to mitigate negative online attention directly at Lively, the statement would have the opposite effect. In response, Wayfair, Baldoni, Heath reject the demand, firmly refusing to issue any statement falsely assuming responsibility for non-existent issues. Now, this is imperative. This is at the height of it. They're like, release a statement, own it. And it's like, okay, well, what are we going to own? Let's look at what they wanted. Here's what Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively wanted them to own. It Ends With Us was a troubled production, which was we take full accountability for. We are very sorry to everyone we caused upset to privately and publicly. Blake Lively, Colleen Hoover, the entire cast and crew led with professionalism every step of the way. Any negativity aimed at them is ours to own. What? We mutually agreed that the cast would be promoting the film separately and understood why. Why? And did they? Because it doesn't sound like they did. We have always said that we are not perfect and even unintentionally make mistakes. We will always own them. We hold ourselves accountable. It's not anyone's job but ours, and that's part of being man enough. Woo! Ryan's really pulling the screw there. We will practice what we preach. We are learning and growing from the experience, and we thank everyone for their patience as we find a better way to proceed. We are very proud of the film and the welcome arms that it's been received. Part of our work is to have uncomfortable conversations for public growth. The film is doing that on screen, and we are doing that off screen. Thank you to the cast and public for the opportunity to be imperfect and to be given the space to learn and grow with humanity and dedication. It's like Ryan wrote this with like my Justin Baldoni impression. He's writing it like, let me say how this guy talks. Let me put it out there. This statement admits to nothing. It just is a broad apology, which then Blake and Ryan can use, when in reality, as you go through this timeline, which we're going to get through, guys, proves that Blake was the one causing so much chaos, refusing to go back to work because of the SAG strike. When during the writer's strike, when they were allowed to go back to work, she refused to cross the picket line, even though it said, you're allowed to go back for this purpose. She refused. When she went over budget, there's an email in here from the wardrobe person. If I can find it, she went over budget, like full over budget. Here it is. There it is. To date, typically, budget spending is 185. They told me they'd spend 500, but then when they return things, it's about 185. At the beginning of production, Blake spent $615,000. And now no other characters had gotten their wardrobe because Blake went out and basically did a shopping spree to get her looks. And it's wild because her looks are awful. I'm sorry, there's so much to gather. When that image, here it is. I'm so glad I stumbled upon it. When that image dropped, like, hello, I didn't actually really see this before. These comments are hilarious. Look at this. I never pictured her this homely. They made Blake look lively older than she actually is. She's supposed to play younger. She looks like Mary Poppins mixed with a homeless lady. She doesn't seem like it's Dazzle like Lily does. Also, what the F is this outfit? I can't believe it would be this hideous in the movie. Mom, I want Carrie Bradshaw. We have Carrie Bradshaw at home. Here is Carrie Bradshaw at home. It's like, what was this? The fans were reacting and the backlash was because of creative decisions she was making. And that's why her and Justin were in that trailer talking for an hour and a half, where they didn't even miss their day. He shows all the call sheets and things. They missed like one shot, but they kept going to the best of their ability. Producers, people involved in the film were all pointing out very early on that Blake was the problem. She was constantly changing things, rewriting things, taking over things, and that made the budget and everything else balloon out of order. Now, again, the most pressing thing is they want to apologize for what? As she goes through and you read this timeline, and we're going to break down these pieces one by one. The first meeting she has is about the sexy comment. It really came about the sexy comment. She was mad that he said, that would look sexier, the onesie nonsense. While meanwhile, they prove she said it earlier. She goes and makes a complaint to Sony, and Sony basically says, well, do you want to make a formal complaint? She says no. In her lawsuit, she says she did. So there are so many discrepancies now that are coming out that, one, Blake needs to explain a lot, but also Sony needs to step in because there's a lot here where Sony does feel more involved and actually pushes back on Blake at times. There are moments in this where Sony's like, no, we can't do that, which all goes to that theory on Reddit that everyone's like, did she threaten to say, I'm going to do an SH allegation if you don't give me control of the film? Reading this timeline, that seems more and more likely. This seems more, the two theories that I read, not that they're in love with each other. I still don't buy that. There's nothing about that. They're so about each other's partners. It's like nauseating. I don't believe that theory that everyone's telling me, everyone's out. No, but the theory that Ryan may have been insecure by the connection, maybe. And also the fact that Blake was playing it up and it was doing everything she could to exert power of the film. Both of those are the two theories that I take the most from reading this. There's so much to read, guys, and we will continue to drip these out over the weekend because I'm usually off these days and I want to get some time off to go with my family. That's what it's really about. Stay tuned. We're going to give you a lot more. I'm going to try to get my team putting some more over on Instagram. If you haven't been following us over on Instagram, please do. Sometimes we can't get to the video right away, but then we can post it here, and we're trying to diversify and get more of an audience because I know so many guys are feverishly wanting more about this. Make sure you're following us at Popcorn Planet over on Instagram. Instagram for updates. Stay tuned here. A lot more is coming, so hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for all alerts, smash that like button as well, and stay tuned. It is not ending with us anytime soon.